The night Serena Vale's luxury SUV died outside his garage during a violent coastal storm, Logan Hayes had no idea the cold. Sharp-tongued billionaire shivering in his doorway would become the biggest threat to the quiet, broken life he'd spent 8 years protecting. Within 48 hours, she'd charmed his daughter, invaded his thoughts, and made him wonder if the walls he'd built around his heart were actually a prison. But when her world of money and power collided with his Harbortown simplicity, everything he loved would be dragged into the spotlight, and he'd have to choose between the safety of silence and the risk of letting someone in again. If you want to see how a single father and a ruthless billionaire survived the storm neither of them saw coming, stay until the very end. Hit that like button and drop a comment with your city so I can see how far this story travels. Logan Hayes wiped grease off his hands with a rag that had seen better days, squinting through the rain hammering against the garage windows. The storm had rolled in fast, turning the October sky black by 4 in the afternoon. Wind screamed through the harbor, rattling the corrugated metal roof above him like it wanted inside. "Dad, is the power going to go out?" He glanced over his shoulder. Lily sat cross-legged on an old workbench, swinging her feet, her backpack still slung over one shoulder. 8 years old, and she already had her mother's eyes, dark, perceptive, always watching him like she could see straight through whatever lie he was about to tell. "Maybe," he said. "We'll be fine either way." She didn't look convinced. "Mrs. Patterson said there's going to be flooding." "Mrs. Patterson worries too much." "She said the last storm like this was when you were my age." Logan tossed the rag onto the tool bench. "Yeah, well, we're still standing, aren't we?" Lily nodded, but her fingers twisted the straps of her backpack. He hated that look, the one that said she was trying to be brave because she thought he needed her to be. "Come on," he said, grabbing his jacket off a hook. "Let's get home before it gets worse." They made it halfway across the gravel lot when headlights cut through the rain. Logan froze. A black SUV fishtailed around the corner, tires spinning, engine sputtering. It lurched to a stop 20 feet from his garage door, then died completely. For a moment, nothing happened. Just rain pounding the roof of the vehicle, wind tearing at the trees along the harbor road. Then the driver's door opened. A woman stepped out. Logan's first thought was that she didn't belong here. Not in this town, not in this weather, not anywhere near his garage. She wore a long black coat that probably cost more than his truck, heels that sank into the mud with every step, and an expression that could have frozen the storm solid. She walked toward him like the rain wasn't even touching her. "Is this a repair shop?" Her voice was clipped, cold, impatient. "Yeah, but..." Logan gestured at the peeling sign above the garage. "Hayes Marine Repair." "My car won't start." "I can see that." Her jaw tightened. "Can you fix it?" "Not tonight." "Excuse me?" "Oh, storm," Logan said flatly. "No power. Even if I could get under the hood, parts won't come in until tomorrow at the earliest." She stared at him like he'd just told her the ocean wasn't wet. "I need to get back to Seattle." "Then you should have left before the storm hit." Her eyes narrowed. "Are you always this helpful? Are you always this pleasant?" Lily tugged on his sleeve. "Dad." He glanced down. She was looking at the woman with that wide-eyed curiosity kids have before they learn to distrust strangers. The woman's gaze shifted to Lily, and for just a second, something flickered across her face. Surprise, maybe. Or something softer. "You have a daughter," she said. "Yeah." "And you're keeping her out here in a storm." Logan's chest tightened. "We were just leaving." "To go where?" "Home." "How far?" 10 minutes. The woman looked at her dead SUV, then at the rain pouring sideways across the lot, then back at Logan. Her expression didn't change, but her shoulders sagged just enough for him to notice. "I don't suppose there's a hotel nearby," she said. "Nearest one's 30 miles inland. Roads are probably flooded by now." She closed her eyes, took a breath, opened them again. "Is there any chance," she said slowly, "that you could give me a ride?" Logan hesitated. Every instinct told him to say no. He didn't know this woman, didn't trust the expensive clothes or the sharp edges in her voice, didn't want whatever complicated mess she was clearly carrying. But Lily was still watching, and the rain was getting worse, and the woman looked, despite everything, tired. Fine, he muttered. Get in the truck. Eek. The drive took 15 minutes instead of 10. The roads were slick. The wind kept shoving the truck sideways, and Logan had to navigate around 2 downed trees before they finally pulled up to the small rental house he and Lily called home. It wasn't much. Faded blue paint, a sagging porch, a yard that was mostly weeds, but it was dry, and it was theirs. The woman stepped out of the truck and stared at the house like she'd just been dropped on another planet. You live here? She asked. Yeah. Alone? With my daughter. She glanced at Lily, who was already halfway to the front door, then back at Logan. And you're offering to let a complete stranger stay the night? Well, I'm offering to let you wait out the storm, Logan said. If you'd rather sit in your car, be my guest. She looked at the rain, at the house, at him. Then she followed Lily inside. The power was still on, but Logan knew it wouldn't last. He set Lily up at the kitchen table with her homework and went to dig out candles and flashlights from the hall closet. When he came back, the woman was standing in the middle of the living room, dripping onto the hardwood floor, looking like she'd never been somewhere this small in her life. You can hang your coat by the door, Logan said. She did, moving carefully, like the house might collapse if she touched the wrong thing. Underneath the coat, she wore a white blouse and tailored black pants, both now soaked through. I don't suppose you have anything dry I could borrow, she said. Logan almost laughed. Not unless you want to wear one of my flannels. I'll manage. Suit yourself, He left her standing there and went to check on Lily. She'd abandoned her homework and was watching the woman through the doorway, chin resting on her hands. Who is she? Lily whispered. No idea. She's really pretty. Yeah, well, pretty doesn't mean nice. You don't know that? Logan sighed. Finish your homework. By 7 o'clock, the power was gone. Logan lit candles, pulled out a battery-powered radio, and started making dinner, grilled cheese sandwiches, because that was about all they had. The woman sat stiffly at the kitchen table, arms crossed, clearly uncomfortable. You don't have to stay in here, Logan said. There's a couch in the living room. I'm fine. You don't look fine. I look exactly how I feel. Logan flipped a sandwich. And how's that? Stranded in a stranger's house during a hurricane. It's a storm, not a hurricane. It feels like a hurricane. Lily giggled. The woman's eyes flicked toward her, and for the first time, her expression softened. What's funny? The woman asked. You, Lily said. You sound like Dad when he's grumpy. Logan shot his daughter a look. I'm not grumpy. You're always grumpy. The woman almost smiled. Almost. What's your name? Lily asked. The woman hesitated. Serena. I'm Lily. That's my dad, Logan. I gathered. Lily leaned forward. Why are you here? My car broke down. But why were you driving in a storm? Because I had to get back to Seattle. Why? Lily, Logan warned. But Serena was looking at Lily now, really looking, and something in her face had shifted. Because I have work, she said quietly. Important work. More important than being safe? Serena blinked. She stopped, looked away. I don't know. Logan set a plate in front of her, grilled cheese, slightly burned. She stared at it like she'd never seen food before. Thank you, she said. Don't mention it. They ate in silence. The storm battered the windows, the candles flickered, and somewhere in the distance, Logan heard a transformer blow. When they finished, Lily pushed her plate aside and pulled out a worn notebook. What's that? Serena asked. My comic book. You draw comics. Lily nodded. Want to see? Sit. Logan expected Serena to say no, to make an excuse, check her phone, retreat into whatever cold shell she'd been wearing since she stepped out of that SUV. But instead she said, sure. For the next hour, Logan watched his daughter show a complete stranger every drawing she'd ever made. Serena asked questions about the characters, the stories, why the superhero had a talking cat instead of a sidekick. Lily answered with the kind of unfiltered honesty only kids have, and Serena listened like it mattered. At some point, Logan stopped pretending to clean the kitchen and just watched, Serena laughed. Actually laughed. It was quiet, a little rusty, like she hadn't done it in a while. But it was real. Your drawings are really good, Serena said. Lily beamed. Dad says I get it from my mom. Serena's smile faltered. Your mom draws? She used to. Lily's voice went quieter. She died when I was 3. The room went still. Serena looked at Logan. He met her gaze, jaw tight, daring her to say something stupid. I'm sorry, Serena said finally, and she sounded like she meant it. Lily shrugged. It's okay. I don't really remember her, but Dad says she was really cool. I'm sure she was. Logan cleared his throat. All right, kiddo, bedtime. But it's only 8:30. Storm's getting worse. You need sleep. Lily groaned but didn't argue. She hugged Serena, just reached out and wrapped her arms around the woman like it was the most natural thing in the world. Serena froze. Then slowly she hugged back. Good night, Serena, Lily said. Good night. Logan walked his daughter upstairs, tucked her in, kissed her forehead. When he came back down, Serena was standing by the window, staring out at the rain. She's sweet, Serena said. Yeah. You're lucky. I know. Serena turned to face him. In the candlelight, she looked different, softer, tired. I should let you get some rest, Logan said. Couch pulls out into a bed. I'll grab some blankets. Logan? He stopped. Thank you, she said, for letting me stay. Don't mention it. I mean it. Her voice cracked just a little. I haven't. She stopped, shook her head. Never mind. Logan wanted to ask, wanted to know what she'd been about to say, but he didn't. Good night, Serena. Good night. Bapachapa dek. Logan didn't sleep. He lay in bed, listening to the storm, thinking about the woman downstairs, about the way she'd looked at Lily, the way she'd laughed, about the fact that, for the first time in 8 years, his house hadn't felt quite so empty. Morning came gray and quiet. The storm had passed, leaving behind broken branches and puddles the size of small lakes. Logan made coffee, checked the damage outside, then went to wake Serena. She was already awake, sitting on the couch, fully dressed, staring at her phone. Roads clear? She asked. Mostly. I'll tow your car to the garage, see what I can do. How long will it take? Depends on what's wrong. Could be a few hours. Could be a few days. Mio. Serena's jaw tightened. I need to get back to Seattle. Then call a cab. There's no signal. Logan handed her his phone. Landline's in the kitchen. She took it, dialed, waited. Her face went flat. No cars available until tomorrow, she said. Logan shrugged. Welcome to small-town life. She looked at him like he'd just ruined her entire week, which, to be fair, he probably had. I'll work on your car, he said. Best I can do. Serena nodded, set his phone down, looked around the small, cluttered living room like she was seeing it for the first time. Why do you live out here? She asked. Because it's quiet. Don't you get lonely? Logan's chest tightened. No. Liar. He stared at her. She stared back. You don't know me, he said. I know loneliness when I see it. Yeah? What about you? Serena's expression flickered. What about me? You drove through a storm to get back to work. No wedding ring. No one calling to check if you're okay. Sounds pretty lonely to me. Her eyes went cold. You don't know anything about my life. Then stop pretending you know mine. They stood there, inches apart, tension crackling between them like lightning. Then Lily's voice drifted down from upstairs. Dad? Is Serena still here? The moment broke. Logan stepped back. Yeah, kiddo, she's still here. Lily came bounding down the stairs, still in her pajamas, hair sticking up in every direction. She grinned when she saw Serena. Are you staying for breakfast? Serena hesitated, looked at Logan. He shrugged. Up to you. She looked at Lily, at the hopeful expression on the kid's face. Sure, Serena said quietly. I'll stay. But breakfast was pancakes. Terrible pancakes. because Logan had never figured out how to make them without burning at least half the batch. But Lily didn't care, and Serena ate them anyway, and for a little while the kitchen felt almost normal. "So what do you do?" Lily asked between bites. "I run a company," Serena said. "What kind of company?" "Technology, software. Like video games?" Serena smiled. "Not exactly." "That's boring." "Lily," Logan said. "What? It is." Serena laughed. "You're not wrong. Do you like it?" Serena paused, fork halfway to her mouth. She stopped, looked at her plate. "I used to." "What happened?" "It got complicated." "Grown-up stuff?" "Yeah, grown-up stuff." Lily nodded, like that made perfect sense. Dad says grown-ups make everything harder than it has to be. Serena glanced at Logan. "Does he?" "All the time," Lily said. "Like, he won't ask Mrs. Patterson out, even though she's really nice and brings us cookies." Logan nearly choked on his coffee. "Lily." "What? It's true." Serena's smile widened. "Your dad doesn't date?" "Nope, he says he's too busy." "I am too busy." "You're scared," Lily said matter-of-factly. Logan set his mug down harder than necessary. "That's enough." But Serena was watching him now, something unreadable in her eyes. "Scared of what?" she asked. "Getting hurt again," Lily said. The room went quiet. Logan stood. "I'm going to go check your car." He left before either of them could say anything else. The SUV was worse than he'd thought. Blown alternator, fried battery, water damage in the engine compartment. It would take parts he didn't have and time he didn't want to spend. But he worked anyway, because it gave him something to do. Something to focus on besides the woman sitting in his kitchen, laughing with his daughter like she belonged there. He was elbow deep in the engine when Serena appeared in the doorway of the garage. "How bad is it?" she asked. "Bad. Needs a new alternator. Maybe a new battery. Won't know until I get parts." "How long?" 2 days? Maybe 3. Serena closed her eyes. "I can't be stuck here for 3 days." "Then call someone, rent a car. I don't know what to tell you. I have meetings, contracts, people depending on me." "So call them." "I can't." She stopped, took a breath. "I can't just walk away." "Why not?" "Because that's not how it works." Logan straightened, wiping his hands on his jeans. "You know what? I don't care. I'm fixing your car because you're stuck, and I'm not a complete asshole. But I'm not your therapist, and I'm not interested in whatever existential crisis you're having." Serena's face went hard. "You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be here. Where else am I supposed to go?" "I don't know. Figure it out." They glared at each other. Then Serena's phone rang. She pulled it out, glanced at the screen, and her entire body went rigid. "I have to take this," she said. She stepped outside. Logan watched through the window as she paced back and forth, phone pressed to her ear, her free hand gesturing sharply. When she came back, her face was pale. "I need to get back to Seattle," she said. "Now." "I told you. I know what you told me, but I'm telling you I need to leave. Today." Logan crossed his arms. "What happened?" "That's none of your business. If it's about the car, it is." Serena looked at him, really looked at him. And for the first time since she'd stepped out of that SUV, Logan saw fear in her eyes. "My company's being sold," she said quietly, "without my approval." "Can they do that?" "They think they can." "Can you stop them?" "Not from here." Logan exhaled, thought about the broken alternator, the flooded roads, the woman standing in front of him who looked like her entire world was falling apart. "I'll make some calls," he said. "See if I can get parts delivered today?" Serena blinked. "You'd do that? Don't make me regret it." That. He didn't regret it. Not exactly. But by the time the parts arrived and he'd spent 4 straight hours replacing the alternator in the rain, he was starting to wonder why the hell he cared. Serena stayed inside with Lily. Through the garage window, Logan could see them sitting at the kitchen table, bent over the comic book again. Serena was drawing something. Lily was laughing. It shouldn't have mattered. It shouldn't have felt like anything, but it did. By 6 o'clock, the SUV was running. Logan test drove it around the block, checked the gauges, and pulled it back into the driveway. Serena was waiting on the porch. "It's done," Logan said. "Thank you. You're welcome." She didn't move. "Something else?" Logan asked. Serena glanced back at the house. At Lily, visible through the window, waving. "She's special," Serena said. "I know. You're lucky to have her." "I know that too." Serena looked at him. "Do you?" Logan's jaw tightened. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing." She shook her head. "Never mind." She walked to the SUV, opened the driver's door, then paused. "How much do I owe you?" she asked. $200 for the parts. Labor's on the house." "That's not—" "Take it or leave it." Serena pulled out her wallet, handed him $300 bills. "Keep the change," she said. "I don't need your charity." "It's not charity. It's a tip." Logan stared at the money. At her. Then he took it. Serena climbed into the SUV, started the engine, rolled down the window. "Thank you," she said again. "For everything." Logan nodded. She put the car in reverse, and then Lily came running out of the house, barefoot, waving her arms. "Wait!" Serena hit the brakes. Lily ran up to the window holding something, a folded piece of paper. "I made this for you," she said, handing it to Serena. Serena unfolded it. It was a drawing, a woman with dark hair standing next to a little girl and a man. They were all smiling. "It's us," Lily said. "So you don't forget." Serena's hands trembled. "Lily, you're going to come back, right?" Serena looked at Logan. He said nothing. "I don't know," Serena said softly. "But you want to?" Serena's eyes shimmered. "Yeah, I want to." Lily grinned. "Then you will." She hugged Serena through the window, quick and fierce, then ran back to the porch. Serena stared at the drawing for a long moment. Then she folded it carefully and tucked it into her coat pocket. "Goodbye, Logan," she said. "Goodbye." She drove away. Logan stood in the driveway, watching the taillights disappear into the rain, and told himself he'd never see her again. He was wrong. 3 weeks passed before Logan saw her again. He told himself he wasn't counting the days. Told himself he didn't think about her every time a black SUV drove past the garage. Told himself the drawing Lily had taped to the refrigerator didn't bother him every time he opened the door for a beer. He was lying about all of it. Lily asked about Serena exactly once, 2 days after she'd left. Logan had said he didn't know if she'd come back, and Lily had nodded like she understood. But she kept the comic book they'd worked on together under her pillow, and sometimes Logan caught her staring out the window at the road like she was waiting for someone. It made his chest ache in a way he didn't want to examine. The marina redevelopment rumors started on a Tuesday. Logan heard about it from Pete Garrison, who ran the bait shop 3 doors down from the garage. Pete had been complaining about rent increases for months, but this was different. This was a developer from Seattle sniffing around the harbor, talking about luxury condos and yacht clubs and pushing out anyone who couldn't afford the new lease prices. "They're going to turn this place into another yuppie paradise," Pete said, leaning against Logan's workbench with a cigarette hanging from his lip. "Mark my words. 5 years, none of us will be able to afford to stay." Logan didn't argue. He'd seen it happen in other coastal towns. Old fishing communities gutted and replaced with wine bars and boutique hotels. People who'd lived there for generations priced out by developers who saw waterfront property and dollar signs. "Who's the developer?" Logan asked. Pete shrugged. "Some tech company, Vail Enterprises or something." Logan's hands went still on the wrench he was holding. "What did you say?" "Vail Enterprises. You heard of them?" He had. He'd Googled the name 3 weeks ago, sitting in his truck at 2 in the morning, unable to sleep. Serena Vail. CEO. Net worth somewhere north of $3 billion. A portfolio that included half the tech startups in Seattle and a reputation for buying struggling companies and flipping them for profit. He'd closed the browser and told himself it didn't matter. Now it did. "Yeah," Logan said quietly. "I've heard of them." "Well, they're the ones sniffing around. Sent some guy in a suit to talk to the Harbor Commission last week, offering big money to buy up properties." Logan set the wrench down. "What properties?" "All of them. The whole waterfront. They want to tear down the old docks, Build a marina for rich assholes with more money than sense. And the commission's considering it? Hell, half of them are ready to sign. You know how it is? Money talks. Logan's jaw tightened. Yeah, I know. Pete left, and Logan stood alone in the garage, staring at the harbor through the window. The docks were old, half-rotted in places, held together with rust and stubbornness. But they were real. They were home to fishermen and boat mechanics and people who worked with their hands and didn't apologize for it. If Vail Enterprises got their way, it would all be gone. And Serena would be the one signing the papers. He tried to convince himself he was wrong, that maybe it was a different company, that maybe she didn't know what her people were doing. But when the black SUV pulled into his driveway 2 days later, he knew. She stepped out wearing designer jeans and a cream-colored sweater that probably cost more than his mortgage. Her hair was pulled back, sunglasses hiding her eyes, and she looked every inch the billionaire who'd invaded his life 3 weeks ago. Lily saw her first. Serena! She bolted out the front door and threw herself at Serena before Logan could stop her. Serena caught her, stumbling back a step, then wrapped her arms around the kid and held on like she'd been drowning and Lily was air. Hi, Serena said, her voice cracking just a little. You came back! I did. Dad said you probably wouldn't. Serena glanced at Logan, who was standing on the porch with his arms crossed. Did he? Logan said nothing. Lily pulled back, grinning. Are you staying? Can you stay for dinner? Dad's making spaghetti, and it's actually good when he doesn't burn it. Serena hesitated. I don't know if that's a good idea. Why not? Because I don't think your dad wants me here. Lily looked at Logan. Dad? He wanted to say yes. Wanted to tell Serena to get back in her car and drive back to Seattle and stay the hell away from his daughter and his town and his life. But Lily was looking at him with those wide, hopeful eyes, and Serena was standing there like she didn't know whether to run or stay, and Logan was so damn tired of being angry all the time. Fine, he said. Dinner, then we talk. Serena nodded. Okay. Lily cheered and dragged Serena inside, already talking a mile a minute about school and the new comic she'd started and the stray cat that had been hanging around the garage. Logan followed, every muscle in his body tense. This wasn't going to end well. The spaghetti was fine. Better than fine, actually, because Logan had learned over the years that cooking was one of the few things that calmed him down when his brain wouldn't shut up. He made garlic bread, too, and Lily set the table with the kind of exaggerated care she only used when they had company. Serena sat across from him, hands folded in her lap, watching Lily like she was memorizing every detail. So, Lily said, twirling spaghetti around her fork, why did you come back? Serena smiled. I had business nearby. What kind of business? Boring business. Grown-up stuff? Exactly. Lily nodded. Dad says grown-ups use boring as code for I don't want to explain. Serena's eyes flicked to Logan. Does he? All the time, Lily said. Like when I ask where babies come from. Logan nearly choked on his water. Lily, what? You do? Serena laughed. Actually laughed. And for a second, Logan forgot why he was angry. Then he remembered. After dinner, Lily went upstairs to work on homework, and Logan started clearing the table. Serena helped without asking, carrying plates to the sink, moving around the small kitchen like she'd been doing it for years. You don't have to do that, Logan said. I know. I'm serious. You're a guest. I'm a guest who doesn't want to be useless. Logan set a plate down harder than necessary. You want to be useful? Tell me why your company's trying to buy up the harbor. Serena went very still. I don't know what you're talking about, she said. Don't lie to me. I'm not lying. Vail Enterprises, that's your company, right? Serena's face went carefully blank. Yes, and they're in talks with the Harbor Commission about a redevelopment project. That's... She stopped, took a breath. That's one of several projects we're evaluating. Evaluating? Logan turned to face her. That's a nice word for destroying people's lives. It's not like that. Then what's it like? It's complicated. Of course it is. Everything's complicated with people like you. Serena's eyes flashed. People like me? Rich? Powerful. So far removed from reality, you don't even see the damage you cause. You don't know anything about me, chick. I know you're trying to turn this town into a playground for millionaires. I know people like Pete Garrison are going to lose their shops. I know families who've been here for generations are going to get pushed out because some developer decided waterfront property is more valuable than the people who actually live here. Serena's jaw tightened. I'm not the villain you think I am. Then prove it. How? Stop the project. I can't. Why not? You're the CEO. It's not that simple. It never is with you people. Serena slammed her hand on the counter. Stop saying that. Why? It's true. No, it's not. You don't know what I've been dealing with. You don't know the pressure I'm under or the people I answer to or the fact that I've been fighting to keep my own company from being sold out from under me for the past 3 weeks. Logan stared at her. What? Serena closed her eyes. My board tried to force me out. They wanted to sell the company to a private equity firm that would have gutted it for parts. I've been spending every waking hour trying to stop them. And the harbor project? I didn't even know about it until 2 days ago. My VP of development signed off on the preliminary agreements without my approval. So stop him, said. I'm trying, but if I cancel the project now, the board will say I'm tanking profitable deals out of emotion. They'll use it as proof I'm unfit to lead. Logan exhaled slowly. So you're stuck. Yeah, I'm stuck. They stood there in silence, the weight of it pressing down on both of them. Why did you come back? Logan asked quietly. Serena looked at him. Because I couldn't stay away. That's not an answer. Yes, it is. She moved closer. Not touching, just close enough that Logan could see the exhaustion in her eyes. The fear. The loneliness he'd recognized the first night she'd stumbled into his life. I came back because I haven't been able to stop thinking about this place, Serena said. About Lily. About you. Because for the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe here. And I know that's selfish. I know I don't belong in your world. But I needed to see you again. Logan's chest tightened. Serena, I'm not asking for anything. I just needed you to know. Before he could respond, Lily's voice drifted down from upstairs. Dad, can Serena help me with my math homework? Serena smiled, small and sad. You should probably say no. Yeah, probably. But he didn't. Serena ended up staying for 3 hours. She sat at the kitchen table with Lily, explaining fractions in a way that actually made sense, and Logan watched from the doorway, coffee mug in hand, trying to figure out how the hell this had become his life. When Lily finally went to bed, Serena stood to leave. Thank you, she said, for letting me stay. Don't thank me yet. Why not? Oh, because I'm still pissed about the harbor. I know, and I don't trust you. I know that too. E? Logan walked her to the door. Outside, the night was clear. Stars scattered across the sky like broken glass. Are you really going to fight your board? Logan asked. I don't know, maybe. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. Logan leaned against the doorframe. You know, for someone who runs a billion-dollar company, you're not very good at making decisions. Serena almost smiled. I'm good at making the decisions I'm supposed to make, the ones that make sense on paper. It's the other ones I struggle with. What other ones? The ones that matter. She held his gaze for a long moment, then turned and walked to her car. Serena, Logan called. She stopped. If you screw over this town, I'll never forgive you. I know. She drove away, and Logan stood on the porch until the taillights disappeared. He didn't sleep that night. The next morning, Logan got a call from the Harbor Commission. They wanted to meet with him about the redevelopment project. Specifically, they wanted his input as one of the longest-standing business owners on the waterfront. Logan knew a trap when he saw one, but he went anyway. The meeting was held in the community center, a drafty building that smelled like old wood and fish. Half the commission was there, along with a man in a suit who introduced himself as David Brennan, VP of Development for Vail Enterprises. Brennan looked exactly like Logan expected. Mid-40s, slicked back hair, smile that didn't reach his eyes. Mr. Hayes, Brennan said, extending a hand. Thank you for coming. Logan didn't shake it. Let's skip the pleasantries. What do you want? Brennan's smile tightened. We're here to discuss the future of the harbor. We believe this redevelopment project is an opportunity to revitalize the community and bring in much-needed economic growth. By kicking out everyone who actually lives here. That's not our intention. Then what is, right? Brennan pulled out a folder, slid it across the table. We're offering fair market value for all properties in the development zone. More than fair, actually. We're prepared to offer 20% above current appraisals. Logan didn't touch the folder. And what happens to the people who don't want to sell? We're confident everyone will see the value in this opportunity. That's not what I asked. Brennan's smile disappeared. Mr. Hayes, I understand you have concerns, but this project is happening whether you support it or not. We'd prefer to have the community on board, but it's not a requirement. Is that a threat? It's a fact. Logan stood. Then here's another fact. This town isn't for sale, not to you, not to your company, not to anyone. And if you think you can steamroll us because we're not rich enough to fight back, you're wrong. He walked out before Brennan could respond. By the time he got back to the garage, word had spread. Pete Garrison was waiting for him, along with half a dozen other business owners from the waterfront. Is it true? Pete asked. They're really trying to force us out? Yeah, Logan said. It's true. What are we going to do? Logan looked at the small crowd gathered outside his garage. People who'd built their lives here, who'd raised their kids here, who deserved better than being treated like obstacles in some billionaire's business plan. We fight, Logan said. That night, Serena called. Logan almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up. Hey, she said. Hey, I heard about the meeting. Word travels fast. David Brennan is an asshole. Logan's grip tightened on the phone. He works for you. Is he? Not for long. What's that mean? Serena was quiet for a moment. It means I fired him. An hour ago. Logan sat down heavily on the couch. You what? I fired him, and I'm canceling the harbor project. Serena, I know what you're going to say, that it's not enough, that the damage is already done. But I'm trying, Logan. I'm trying to do the right thing. Your board's going to crucify you. Let them. You could lose your company. I know. Logan rubbed his face with his free hand. Why are you doing this? Because you were right. Because I've spent so long chasing profit that I forgot what actually matters. Because Lily drew me a picture of a family, and I realized I haven't felt like I belonged anywhere in years. Because... She stopped. Because you make me want to be better. Logan's throat tightened. That's a lot of pressure to put on someone you barely know. I know. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. Just... He exhaled. Don't make promises you can't keep. I'm not. Serena. I mean it, Logan. I'm done running from the hard stuff. I'm done pretending I don't care. And I'm done letting people like David Brennan make decisions that hurt people. Logan closed his eyes. What happens now? Now I fight, and probably lose. You sound okay with that. I'm terrified, actually. But I'm also tired of being someone I don't recognize. They stayed on the phone for another hour, talking about nothing and everything. About Lily's latest comic. About the stray cat that had finally let Logan pet it. About Serena's assistant, who'd quit in solidarity after she fired Brennan. When they finally hung up, Logan sat in the dark living room, staring at the drawing on the refrigerator. He was in so much trouble. The next 2 weeks were chaos. Serena came back to the harbor, this time not as a CEO, but as someone trying to fix a mess. She met with the business owners personally, apologized for the development plans, and started working on an alternative proposal that would bring investment to the town without destroying it. She also spent time with Lily. Too much time, if Logan was being honest. She showed up for dinner 3 times in 1 week, helped with homework, taught Lily how to code a simple video game on her laptop, laughed at jokes that weren't funny, and listened to stories that didn't make sense and fit into their small, broken life like she'd always been there. And Logan let her. He told himself it was for Lily, that his daughter deserved to have people in her life who cared about her, that it didn't mean anything. But when Serena looked at him across the kitchen table, when she smiled at some stupid thing he said, when her hand brushed his while they were washing dishes, he knew he was lying. The problem was the rest of the world. The tabloids found out about Serena's visits to the harbor. Someone took a photo of her and Logan walking along the docks with Lily between them, holding both their hands. Within 24 hours, it was on every gossip site in the country. Billionaire CEO's secret harbor romance. Serena Vale slumming it with small-town mechanic. Is this mystery man why Vale canceled her billion-dollar deal? Logan tried to ignore it, but when reporters started showing up at the garage, when Lily came home from school asking why kids were calling her dad Serena's boy toy, he couldn't anymore. He called Serena. "We need to talk," he said. She arrived an hour later, face pale, hands shaking. "I'm sorry," she said before he could say anything. "I didn't know they'd find out. You didn't think people would notice a billionaire hanging around a fishing town? I was trying to keep it quiet." "Well, you failed." Serena flinched. "Logan, Lily's getting harassed at school. Reporters are showing up at my garage. Pete Garrison asked if I was sleeping with you for money. That's disgusting. That's reality. Your reality. The one you brought into my life." Serena's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't mean for this to happen." "It doesn't matter what you meant. It's happening. So what do you want me to do? Leave?" "I don't know." "Yes, you do." Logan looked at her. At the woman who'd crashed into his life during a storm and somehow made him feel things he'd been numb to for 8 years. At the woman who made his daughter laugh and his house feel less empty and his chest ache in ways he didn't know how to handle. "I want you to stay," he said quietly. "But I can't ask you to." "Oh, why not?" "Because you don't belong here. You belong in boardrooms and penthouse apartments and places where people don't gossip about your love life at the grocery store." "What if I don't want that anymore?" It doesn't matter what you want. It's who you are." Serena stepped closer. "You don't get to decide who I am." "I'm not trying to." "Yes, you are. You're putting me in a box because it's easier than believing I might actually want this, that I might actually want you." Logan's breath caught. "Serena, I know this is complicated. I know I've made mistakes, but I'm not leaving. Not unless you tell me you don't want me here." "It's not that simple." "Then make it simple." She was close enough now that he could see the gold flecks in her eyes, close enough that he could smell her perfume, close enough that one move, one word, would change everything. "Do you want me to leave?" she asked. "No." "Then I'm staying." She kissed him. It wasn't soft or tentative. It was desperate and messy and tasted like coffee and fear and something Logan hadn't felt in so long he'd forgotten the name for it. Hope. He pulled back. "This is a bad idea." "Probably. We barely know each other. So let's fix that. Your board's going to lose their minds. Let them. Lily loves me, and I love her." Logan stared at her. "You can't just say that." "Why not? It's true." "You've known her for a month." "I've known her long enough." Logan wanted to argue, wanted to list all the reasons this was insane, but Serena was looking at him like he was the only solid thing in a world that kept shifting, and he couldn't bring himself to push her away. "If we do this," he said slowly, "it's going to get worse before it gets better." "I know. The press is going to tear us apart. Let them try. And if your board forces you out, then I'll figure it out. With you." Logan closed his eyes. "You're going to break my heart." "No, I'm not. You don't know that." "Yes, I do." She kissed him again, softer this time, and Logan let himself believe her. They told Lily the next morning. She looked at them sitting on the couch, hands clasped between them, and grinned. "Finally," she said. Logan blinked. "What?" "I've been waiting for you to figure it out." Serena laughed. "You knew?" "Duh. You guys are terrible at hiding stuff." "We weren't hiding anything," Logan said. "You made googly eyes at each other every time you thought I wasn't looking." "I did not make googly eyes." "You totally did." Lily looked at Serena. "Does this mean you're going to be my mom?" The room went very quiet. Serena's smile faltered. I don't know, sweetie. It's complicated." "Why?" "Because your dad and I just started dating. We're still figuring things out." "But you want to be, right?" Serena glanced at Logan. He said nothing, which wasn't helpful. "Yes," Serena said quietly. "I want to be." Lily hugged her, fierce and sudden, and Serena held on like she was afraid to let go. Logan watched them and thought about the woman he'd lost, about the promises he'd made to protect Lily from ever feeling abandoned again, about the fact that he was falling for someone whose entire life existed in a world he didn't understand. And he thought for the first time that maybe it didn't matter because Serena was here, and she was trying, and that was enough. The next blow came 3 days later. Logan's former in-laws called. He hadn't spoken to them in 5 years, not since the funeral. They tried to stay in touch at first, sending cards and gifts for Lily, but Logan had been drowning in grief and anger, and he'd pushed them away along with everyone else. Now they wanted to talk. Logan met them at a coffee shop in town. Richard and Susan Mercer, Lily's maternal grandparents. They looked older than he remembered, grayer, smaller. "Thank you for meeting with us," Susan said. Logan nodded. "What do you want?" Richard cleared his throat. "We've been seeing the news about you and Serena Vale. And we're concerned." "About what?" "About Lily," Susan said gently. "About the environment she's being raised in." Sage. Logan's blood went cold. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means we think she deserves stability. A normal childhood, not tabloid headlines and reporters following her to school. She's fine." "Is she?" "Yes." Richard leaned forward. "Logan, we're not trying to attack you. We know you love Lily, but this situation with Serena Vale, it's not healthy. And if it continues, we're prepared to file for custody." The world tilted. "You can't be serious," Logan said. "We're very serious. You haven't seen Lily in 5 years. You don't get to show up now and threaten me. We're not threatening you. We're protecting our granddaughter." Logan stood. "Lily doesn't need protecting from me or from Serena." "Then prove it," Richard said. "End the relationship. Keep her out of the public eye. Give Lily the normal life she deserves." Logan's hands clenched into fists. "Get out." "Logan, I said get out." They left, and Logan sat alone in the coffee shop, shaking with rage and fear. When he got home, Serena was there. She took one look at his face and knew. "What happened?" He told her. She went pale. "They can't do that, can they?" "I don't know. Maybe." "We'll fight them." "With what? You think a judge is going to side with me when I'm dating a billionaire whose face is all over the tabloids? So what are you saying?" Logan looked at her, at the woman he'd let into his life, into Lily's life. "I'm saying this was a mistake." Serena's face crumpled. "Logan, I can't lose her. I can't." "You won't." You don't know that." "Then we'll figure it out together." "There is no together. Not if it means risking Lily. You're choosing her over me." "She's my daughter." "I know that." Serena's voice broke. "But I thought maybe I could be part of this, part of your family." "You can't. It's because of your in-laws?" "Because of everything. Because you're Serena Vale and I'm a guy who fixes boats, and this was never going to work." Tears streamed down Serena's face. "You don't mean that?" Logan forced himself to look away. "Yeah, I do." She left without another word, and Logan sat on the couch in the empty house and hated himself. Lily didn't speak to him for 2 days. She wasn't dramatic about it. No slammed doors, no shouting matches. She just went quiet in a way that hurt worse than any tantrum could have. She ate her breakfast in silence, did her homework without being asked, went to bed without saying goodnight. On the third morning, she finally looked at him across the kitchen table and said, "You're a coward." Logan set his coffee down. "Excuse me?" "You heard me. Lily, you pushed her away because you're scared, just like you push everyone away. That's not fair." "Yes, it is." Her voice shook. "Serena loved us. She wanted to be here. And you made her leave because you're too afraid to let anyone in." Logan's throat tightened. "I'm trying to protect you." "From what? From being happy? From losing someone else?" Lily stared at him, eyes bright with tears she refused to let fall. "I already lost Mom. I know what that feels like. And you know what's worse? Watching you be alone because you're too scared to try again." "It's not that simple." "Why not?" "Because the Mercers are threatening to take you away from me." "They can't do that." "They can try." And if I'm with Serena, if the press keeps following us around, they might win. Lily pushed her chair back. So you're going to spend the rest of your life being miserable just to make sure some people you haven't seen in 5 years don't get mad? I'm trying to keep you safe. I don't need safe. I need you to stop being so sad all the time. She grabbed her backpack and walked out the door before Logan could respond. He sat alone in the kitchen, staring at his daughter's half-eaten cereal, and realized she was right. Work became Logan's escape. He buried himself in repair jobs, taking on twice as much as he normally would, staying at the garage until midnight. Pete Garrison started bringing him dinner because he knew Logan wasn't eating. The other business owners left him alone, sensing he needed space. Nobody mentioned Serena, but Logan saw her everywhere anyway. In the coffee shop where they'd had breakfast once, in the parking spot where her SUV had broken down, in the empty chair at his kitchen table where she used to sit with Lily, laughing at terrible jokes. He told himself he'd made the right choice, that protecting Lily was worth the ache in his chest that wouldn't go away, that eventually it would stop hurting. He was still telling himself that when the lawyer's letter arrived. Richard and Susan Mercer were filing for emergency custody. They claimed Logan was exposing Lily to an unstable environment, citing the tabloid coverage, the reporters at school, and what they called questionable romantic associations with individuals of significant wealth and public notoriety. The hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks out. Logan called every lawyer in the county. None of them would take the case. The Mercers had money, connections, and a team of attorneys who specialized in family law. Logan had a mortgage he could barely afford and a reputation that had been shredded by gossip sites. He was going to lose. The realization hit him at 2 a.m, sitting on his front porch with a beer he wasn't drinking. He was going to lose Lily. Not because he was a bad father, but because he'd let the wrong person into their lives, and now everything was falling apart. His phone rang. He almost didn't answer. But the caller ID said Serena, and his hand moved before his brain could stop it. Hello? I heard about the custody hearing. Logan closed his eyes. How? I still have friends in Seattle. They saw the filing. Good for them. Logan, I want to help. You've helped enough. Please don't do that. Do what? Push me away when you need someone. I don't need anyone. You're lying. Logan's grip tightened on the phone. What do you want me to say, Serena? That I made a mistake? That I should have fought harder? That I'm terrified I'm going to lose my daughter because I was stupid enough to think someone like you could actually want someone like me? Silence. Then Serena's voice, quiet and raw. I did want you. I still do. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. Because even if I win this hearing, even if I keep Lily, I can't risk this happening again. I can't risk her. So you're just giving up? I'm being realistic. So you're being a coward. Logan laughed bitterly. That's what Lily said. Because it's true. Maybe it is, but at least she'll still be my daughter. Serena was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was different, harder. I'm not letting you do this alone, she said. You don't have a choice. Yes, I do. And I'm choosing to fight for you whether you want me to or not. She hung up before he could argue. Logan sat on the porch until dawn, trying to figure out if he was more afraid of losing Lily or of letting Serena back in. He still didn't have an answer when the sun came up. The town rallied. Logan didn't ask them to. But word spread about the custody hearing, and suddenly everyone who'd ever brought their boat to his garage was offering to testify on his behalf. Pete Garrison organized a petition. The woman who ran the bookstore started a legal fund. Even Mrs. Patterson, who Lily had mentioned once in passing, showed up at his door with a casserole and an offer to provide character references. You're part of this community, she said. We take care of our own, so Logan didn't know what to say. He'd spent 8 years keeping everyone at arm's length, convinced that needing people made him weak. Now they were showing up anyway, and he didn't know how to handle it. Lily watched it all with the kind of quiet satisfaction that made Logan suspect she'd been telling people more than he realized. Did you ask them to do this? He said one night. I didn't have to. They just care about us. I thought you weren't talking to me, Shem. I'm not. But I'm also not going to let those people take me away from you. Logan's chest tightened. Lily, I know you're scared, and I know you think pushing Serena away was the right thing. But it wasn't, and if you don't fix it, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. How do you know that? Because I see the way you look when you think I'm not paying attention, like you lost something important and you don't know how to get it back. Logan pulled his daughter into a hug. She let him, even though she was still mad, and for a moment everything felt almost okay. Then his phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number, just a link to a news article. The headline read, "Serena Vale announces resignation from Vale Enterprises board." Logan's hands went numb. He clicked the link. The article was short, clinical, the kind of press release corporations put out when they're trying to minimize damage. Serena Vale was stepping down as CEO, effective immediately, citing personal reasons and a desire to pursue other interests. The board had accepted her resignation and appointed an interim replacement. There was a quote from Serena at the end. "I've spent my entire adult life building this company, but somewhere along the way I forgot why I started. I forgot that success means nothing if you're not living a life that matters. I'm grateful for the opportunities I've had, but it's time for me to focus on what's actually important." Logan read it 3 times. Then he called her. She answered on the first ring. "Did you mean it?" he asked. "Every word. You gave up your company. I gave up a job that was killing me." Serena said, "I'm not doing this for you, Logan. I'm doing it for me. Because I can't keep pretending I'm happy in a world where profit matters more than people, where I have to choose between doing the right thing and keeping my position. I'm done with that life." "What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet, but I'm not leaving this town, not unless you tell me to." Logan's throat closed. "The Mercers are going to use this against me. They'll say you're unstable, that you're having some kind of breakdown." "Let them try. You don't understand." "No, you don't understand." Her voice shook. "I spent 30 years doing what other people expected, building a company my parents thought would make them proud, dating men who looked good in pictures, pretending I didn't care that I went home to an empty apartment every night. And then I met you and Lily, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. So no, I'm not leaving. I'm staying right here. And I'm fighting for you, whether you think you deserve it or not." Logan couldn't breathe. "Why?" "Because I love you, you idiot." The words hit him like a freight train. "You don't mean that," he said. "Yes, I do. You barely know me. I know you're a good father. I know you're loyal and stubborn and scared of letting people in because you're terrified they'll leave. I know you make terrible pancakes and you fix boats in the rain because you can't stand sitting still. I know Lily has your eyes and your sense of humor and your capacity to love people even when it hurts. And I know I've never felt more myself than when I'm sitting at your kitchen table listening to your daughter talk about comic books." Logan's eyes burned. "Serena, I'm not asking you to fix this right now. I'm just asking you to stop pushing me away." "I don't know how." "Then let me help you figure it out." They stayed on the phone for hours, talking about everything and nothing, about the hearing and the town and what Serena was going to do now that she didn't have a company to run, about Lily and fear and the fact that loving someone meant risking everything and doing it anyway. When they finally hung up, Logan felt something shift in his chest, something that felt almost like hope. The custody hearing was brutal. The Mercers brought their lawyers, character witnesses, and a stack of tabloid articles documenting every moment of Logan's relationship with Serena. They painted him as reckless, unstable, more concerned with his romantic life than his daughter's well-being. Their star witness was a child psychologist who testified that exposure to media attention could be traumatic for children Lily's age, that stability and routine were essential for healthy development, that removing Lily from an unpredictable environment would be in her best interest. Logan's lawyer did her best. She called the business owners who testified that Logan was a pillar of the community. Mrs. Patterson, who said she'd never seen a father more devoted to his child. Lily's teacher, who confirmed that despite the recent media attention, Lily was thriving academically and socially. But it wasn't enough. The Mercers had money and resources, and a legal team that knew exactly how to make Logan look like he was putting his own desires above his daughter's needs. Then Serena showed up. She walked into the courtroom wearing a simple navy dress, no makeup, hair pulled back, She looked nothing like the billionaire CEO from the magazine covers. She looked like someone who'd been crying for 3 days straight. The Mercer's lawyer objected immediately. Your Honor, Ms. Vale is not on the witness list. Logan's lawyer stood. We're calling her as a rebuttal witness. The judge looked skeptical, but allowed it. Serena took the stand. The Mercer's lawyer went for her throat immediately. Ms. Vale, isn't it true that you recently resigned from your position as CEO of Vale Enterprises? Yes. And would you say that decision was made under duress? No, it was made because I realized I didn't want to be that person anymore. The person who runs a billion-dollar company? The person who chose profit over people. The lawyer's smile sharpened. And yet you're asking this court to believe you're now a stable influence in this child's life? I'm not asking the court to believe anything. I'm telling you what happened, which is, y'all. Serena looked directly at the Mercers. I met Logan and Lily by accident. My car broke down during a storm, and they took me in when they didn't have to. They fed me, gave me a place to sleep, made me feel welcome when I was a complete stranger. And over the next few weeks, I got to know them. I saw how Logan makes breakfast every morning, even when he's exhausted. How he helps Lily with her homework, even when he doesn't understand the math. How he's built an entire life around making sure his daughter feels loved and safe. That's a lovely story, Ms. Vale, but it doesn't address the fact that your presence in their lives has caused significant disruption. I know, and I take full responsibility for that. When the press found out about us, I should have been more careful. I should have protected them better. But I didn't, and I'm sorry. She turned to Logan. Her eyes were red but steady. I'm sorry I brought chaos into your life. I'm sorry the media won't leave you alone. I'm sorry my world invaded yours and made everything harder. But I'm not sorry I met you. And I'm not sorry I love your daughter. The courtroom went silent. The lawyer recovered quickly. You claim to love a child you've known for less than 2 months? Yes. That seems highly improbable, does it? Because I think loving someone has nothing to do with time and everything to do with whether they make you want to be better. And Lily makes me want to be better every single day. The lawyer switched tactics. You resigned from your company 3 days ago. What are your current employment prospects? I don't have any. So you're unemployed. Technically, yes. And yet, you think you're in a position to be a positive influence on this child? Serena's jaw tightened. I have more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. Employment isn't the issue. Then what is the issue, Ms. Vale? The issue is that you're trying to take a little girl away from the only parent she's ever really known because you think she'd be better off with people she barely remembers. The issue is that Logan Hayes is one of the best fathers I've ever seen, and you're punishing him for having the audacity to care about someone. The issue is that Lily is happy and loved and safe, and you're willing to destroy that because you don't approve of who Logan dates. That's not... Yes, it is, Serena's voice cracked. And if you actually cared about Lily's well-being, you'd see that. She looked at the judge. I made a lot of mistakes in my life. I built a company that valued profit over ethics. I dated people I didn't love because they looked good in photographs. I spent years being someone I didn't even like because I thought that's what success looked like. But when I met Logan and Lily, I realized I'd been doing it all wrong. Because success isn't about money or power or what people think of you. It's about finding people who make you feel like you're home. And that's what they are to me. Home. Yeah. The Mercer's lawyer tried to ask more questions, but Serena had said everything that mattered. Logan's lawyer rested their case. The judge called a recess. Logan found Serena in the hallway outside the courtroom. She was leaning against the wall, hands shaking, looking like she might collapse. You didn't have to do that, he said. Yes, I did. You made yourself look unstable. I don't care. Serena. She grabbed his hand. I meant what I said in there. All of it. Logan pulled her into his arms. She buried her face in his chest and started crying, and he held her while she fell apart. I'm sorry, he whispered, for pushing you away, for being too scared to let you in, for everything. You were protecting Lily. I was protecting myself. Serena pulled back, looking up at him. From what? From caring about someone again, from risking this. And now? Logan cupped her face in his hands. Now I'm more scared of losing you than I am of getting hurt. He kissed her, there in the courthouse hallway, with the Mercers' lawyers probably watching and the whole world ready to judge them for it. He didn't care. When they pulled apart, Serena was smiling through her tears. "We're probably going to lose," she said. "I know. But we tried." "Yeah, we did." They walked back into the courtroom together. The judge returned 20 minutes later. Logan's heart was hammering so hard he thought everyone could hear it. Lily sat beside him, small hand gripping his, and Serena sat on his other side, her fingers laced through his. The judge looked at the Mercers, at Logan, at Lily. "I've reviewed the evidence presented by both parties," she said, "and I've considered the testimony provided today. This is not an easy decision. The Mercers clearly care about their granddaughter and have legitimate concerns about recent events. However, concern alone is not sufficient grounds to remove a child from a loving home." Logan's chest tightened. Mr. Hayes has demonstrated, both through witness testimony and his own actions, that he is a capable and devoted father. While the recent media attention is unfortunate, there's no evidence it has caused lasting harm to the child. In fact, multiple witnesses have testified that Lily is well-adjusted, academically successful, and emotionally secure. The judge paused. "Furthermore, I find Ms. Vale's testimony compelling. Her presence in this family's life may be unconventional, but that does not make it harmful. The court recognizes that families come in many forms, and what matters most is whether a child is loved, supported, and safe." Logan couldn't breathe. Therefore, Logan couldn't. The petition for emergency custody is denied. Lily will remain in her father's care. The courtroom erupted. The Mercers' lawyers immediately started talking about appeals, but Logan didn't hear them. He was too busy holding his daughter, who'd thrown her arms around his neck and was crying into his shoulder. "We won," she whispered. "Yeah, kiddo, we won." Serena's hand found his, and he pulled her into the hug too. Serena's hand found the three of them holding onto each other like they were the only solid thing in the world. Outside the courthouse, reporters were waiting. Cameras flashed. Questions were shouted. Logan ignored all of it. He walked to his truck with Lily on one side and Serena on the other, and he didn't let go of either of them. When they got home, the house was full of people. Pete Garrison had organized a celebration, and half the town had shown up with food and drinks and decorations Lily had definitely helped make. Logan stood in his small, cramped living room, surrounded by people who'd become family without him realizing it, and felt something crack open in his chest. Serena found him later, standing on the porch while the party continued inside. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah, just needed a minute." She leaned against the railing beside him. "Hell of a day." "That's one way to put it." "I meant what I said, in the courtroom." Logan looked at her. "About loving Lily?" "About all of it, including the part about you being home." Logan's throat tightened. "I don't know how to do this." "Do what?" "Let someone in. Trust that they'll stay." Serena took his hand. "Then we'll figure it out together." "What if I screw it up?" "Then we'll fix it, together." "You make it sound easy." "It's not easy, but it's worth it." Logan pulled her close, resting his forehead against hers. "I love you too." "In case that wasn't clear," Serena smiled. "It wasn't, but I'm glad to hear it." They stood there while the sun set over the harbor, holding each other, and for the first time in 8 years, Logan felt like maybe everything was going to be okay. Inside, Lily was showing someone her latest comic book, laughing at a joke Logan couldn't hear. And Logan thought about the woman he'd lost, about the promises he'd made, about the fact that loving someone meant being brave enough to risk losing them. He looked at Serena. "Stay," he said quietly. "I'm not going anywhere. I mean, really stay. Move here. Be part of this." Serena's eyes widened. "Logan, I know it's fast, I know it's probably insane, but I don't want to waste any more time being scared. So stay, please." Serena kissed him, hard and desperate and full of yes. When she pulled back, she was crying again. "Okay," she whispered. "I'll stay." Serena moved into the house on a Tuesday. She didn't have much. 2 suitcases of clothes, a laptop, and a box of things she'd grabbed from her Seattle penthouse before putting it on the market. Everything else she'd donated or sold. Logan watched her carry the second suitcase up the stairs and wondered if she was going to regret this in a week. "You're staring," Serena said from the landing. I'm thinking. About what? About whether you've lost your mind. She smiled. Definitely, but it's too late to back out now. Lily appeared from her room, eyes bright. Can I help you unpack? Sure, but I'm warning you, it's mostly boring stuff. Like what? Business clothes I'll never wear again. Shoes that cost too much. A collection of awards I don't care about anymore. Lily wrinkled her nose. That does sound boring. Told you, meh. They disappeared into the spare room that was now Serena's, and Logan heard laughter through the walls. He went back to the kitchen, made coffee he didn't need, and tried to process the fact that his life had completely changed in less than 2 months. The press was still circling, not as aggressively as before, but enough that Logan couldn't walk to the mailbox without wondering if someone was taking pictures. Serena handled it better than he did. She'd spent years being scrutinized, so she knew how to ignore the cameras, the speculation, the endless commentary about her life choices. Logan was still learning. They'll get bored eventually, Serena said that night, sitting beside him on the couch while Lily did homework at the kitchen table. Once they realize we're not giving them anything dramatic. How long does that take? A few months, maybe longer. Great. She took his hand. Hey, we got through the custody hearing. We can get through this. The custody hearing had an endpoint. This feels like it's never going to stop. It will, trust me. Logan wanted to believe her, but when he checked his phone and saw 3 missed calls from reporters asking for interviews, he wasn't so sure. The next challenge came from an unexpected direction. Serena's former business partners started making noise. Not publicly, but through lawyers and carefully worded press releases that implied she'd abandoned her responsibilities and damaged the company's reputation. They froze her accounts, claimed she'd violated non-compete clauses, threatened lawsuits that would drag on for years. Serena took the calls in the backyard, pacing back and forth with her phone pressed to her ear, and Logan could see the tension building in her shoulders. They're trying to destroy me, she said one night, after a particularly brutal conversation with her lawyers. Not because I did anything wrong, because I left. Can they do that? They can try. My lawyers say most of it won't hold up, but it's going to be expensive and messy and exhausting. Logan pulled her close. So we fight. Baso chimt. We. You think I'm letting you deal with this alone? Serena's eyes filled. I don't want to drag you into my mess. Too late. I'm already here. She kissed him, desperate and grateful, and Logan held her until she stopped shaking. The legal battles consumed weeks. Serena spent hours on video calls with lawyers, reviewing contracts, signing affidavits. Logan watched her transform back into the sharp, calculating woman who'd stepped out of that SUV during the storm, and he hated it. You don't have to do this, he said one afternoon, finding her at the kitchen table surrounded by documents. Yes, I do. Why? Let them have the company. You said you didn't want it anymore. It's not about the company. It's about them thinking they can bully me into submission. So it's about pride. Serena looked up, jaw tight. It's about not letting them win. And what if winning costs you everything else? What's that supposed to mean? Logan gestured at the papers spread across the table. Look at yourself. You're miserable. You're barely sleeping. You snap at Lily when she asks you questions. This isn't the life you said you wanted. I'm dealing with a temporary problem. It doesn't feel temporary. Well, it is. Logan's frustration boiled over. You left Seattle to get away from this. You resigned from your company because you were tired of fighting, and now you're doing the exact same thing here. That's not fair, isn't it? Serena stood, hands clenched. What do you want me to do, Logan? Just roll over and let them destroy everything I built? I want you to ask yourself if it's worth it. Oh, of course it's worth it. Is it? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're choosing them over us. The words hung in the air between them. Serena's face went pale. That's not true. Then prove it. How? Yeah. Put the papers away. Come have dinner with us. Spend one night not thinking about lawyers and contracts and people who don't give a damn about you. Serena looked at the documents, at Logan, at the stairs where Lily's voice drifted down, asking when dinner would be ready. She closed her laptop. Okay, she said quietly. Dinner was tense at first. Serena kept glancing at her phone, checking for messages she wouldn't answer. But slowly, As Lily chattered about her day and Logan told a terrible joke that made them both groan, she started to relax. By the time they were washing dishes, she was almost smiling. "Thank you," she said softly. "For what?" "For reminding me why I'm here." Logan kissed her forehead. "Don't forget again." But the pressure didn't stop. If anything, it got worse. Serena's former board leaked stories to the press. Nothing provable, just carefully planted rumors about her mental state, her judgment, her fitness to run a company. They painted her as unstable, impulsive, someone who'd thrown away a fortune for a fleeting romance. The articles were brutal. Billionaire's breakdown, inside Serena Vale's collapse. From boardroom to small town. What went wrong? Sources close to Vale say she's lost touch with reality. Logan watched Serena read them, watched her face go blank and hard, and knew she was breaking. "They're lying, he said. "I know." "So sue them." "With what money? They froze my accounts. Remember? Then ignore them." "I'm trying." But she wasn't. She was obsessing over every word, every insinuation, every carefully constructed lie designed to make her look like she'd lost her mind. It came to a head 3 weeks later. Logan came home from the garage to find Serena sitting on the floor of the living room, surrounded by printed articles, laptop open, phone ringing nonstop. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Building a case." "A case for what?" "Defamation. They can't just say whatever they want about me." Logan knelt beside her. "Serena, you need to let this go." "I can't." "Yes, you can." "No, I can't." Her voice cracked. "Because if I let them get away with this, it means they were right. It means I did lose my mind. It means everything I gave up was for nothing. That's not true." "But then why does it feel true?" Logan took her hands. "Because you're letting them define you. You're letting them tell you who you are instead of deciding for yourself. I know who I am." "Adieu? Because right now you look like someone who's terrified of what people think." Serena pulled away. "You don't understand." "Then help me understand." "I spent 30 years building that company. 30 years proving I was smart enough, tough enough, ruthless enough to succeed in a world that didn't want me there. And I walked away from it because I thought I'd found something better. But what if I was wrong? What if this was all a mistake and I gave up everything for nothing?" Logan's chest ached. "Is that what you think this is? Nothing?" "No, I don't know. Maybe." "Serena, I'm scared, okay?" Tears streamed down her face. "I'm scared that I made the wrong choice, that you're going to realize I'm not worth the trouble, that Lily's going to get tired of me, that I'm going to wake up one day and have nothing left." Logan pulled her into his arms. "You're not going to wake up with nothing. You're going to wake up with us." "What if that's not enough?" "What if it is?" Why sparse says?" She sobbed into his chest, and he held her while she fell apart, whispering things he hoped were true. That night, after Lily went to bed, Serena made a decision. She called her lawyers and told them to settle, to give her former partners whatever they wanted, to end the legal battles and let her walk away clean. "Are you sure?" her lead attorney asked. "I'm sure." "They're going to take millions." "I don't care. Ms. Vale, I'm done fighting. Just make it stop." She hung up and looked at Logan. "I chose us," she said. "I know. I mean it. No more lawyers, no more press releases, no more letting them control my life." Logan pulled her close. "Good. I'm still scared." "So am I." "Of what?" "Of screwing this up, of not being enough for you." Serena laughed through her tears. "You're an idiot." "Probably. You're more than enough." "So are you, see?" They stood in the kitchen, holding each other, and Logan felt something shift, something that felt like the beginning of actually believing they might make it. The settlement took 6 weeks to finalize. Serena signed away control of Vale Enterprises, accepted a fraction of what her shares were worth, and walked away from the empire she'd built. The press had a field day. Serena Vale's complete surrender. Billionaire gives up fortune for love. The fall of a tech titan. Brown. Serena ignored all of it. Instead, she focused on the town, on the people who'd welcomed her, on the businesses that were still struggling despite her earlier promises. I want to do something, she told Logan one morning. Like what? Something real. Something that actually helps people. Any ideas? She smiled. A few. 3 days later, she announced the Harbor Community Fund, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting local businesses, funding education programs, and preserving the town's maritime heritage. She seeded it with $10 million of her own money and recruited Pete Garrison, Mrs. Patterson, and half a dozen other residents to serve on the board. You're serious about this, Pete said when she pitched the idea. Completely serious. And you're not trying to buy us off or ease your conscience or whatever rich people do? I'm trying to fix the damage I almost caused, and I'm trying to build something that lasts. Pete studied her for a long moment. All right, I'm in. The fund launched quietly, without press releases or photo ops. Serena worked out of Logan's garage, using a folding table and a laptop that kept crashing. She met with business owners, reviewed grant applications, and learned more about the town in 3 weeks than she had in her entire life. Logan watched her transform again, not back into the CEO she'd been, but into something new. Someone who smiled more, who didn't check her phone every 5 minutes, who looked genuinely happy. You're good at this? He said one night. At what? Caring about people. Serena laughed. I'm terrible at it, but I'm learning. You're better than you think. That's because you're biased. Maybe. But I'm also right. She kissed him, and Logan thought about how far they'd both come from that first night in the storm. Lily noticed the change too. Serena's different now, she said one afternoon, drawing at the kitchen table while Logan made lunch. Different how? Oh, happier, like she's not pretending anymore. Logan glanced at his daughter. You think she was pretending before? A little. Not in a bad way. Just like she didn't know how to be normal. And now? Lily shrugged. Now she's figuring it out. What about you? Are you figuring it out? Figuring what out? Having Serena around, living with her, all of it. Lily set down her crayon. Do you want the truth or the nice answer? The truth. Well, I like having her here, but sometimes it's weird. Weird how? Like I know she's not my mom, and I don't want her to try to be my mom. But I also kind of want her to stay forever, and I don't know if that's okay. Logan's chest tightened. It's okay, kiddo. Are you sure? I'm sure. Do you think Mom would be mad? The question hit Logan like a punch. Why would she be mad? Because you love Serena now, and you loved Mom before it. Logan knelt beside his daughter's chair. You can love more than one person, Lily. Your mom will always be part of our lives. But that doesn't mean we can't have room for someone else. So it's okay if I love Serena too? It's more than okay. It's perfect. Lily hugged him, fierce and sudden, and Logan held on tight. That night, he told Serena about the conversation. She listened quietly, hands folded in her lap, eyes shining. I don't want to replace her, Serena said when he finished. I know. But I also don't know how to be what Lily needs. You're already doing it. How? By showing up, by being patient, by loving her without expecting anything back. Serena wiped her eyes. What if I mess up? Then we'll fix it, together. She leaned into him, and they sat on the couch in the dark living room, listening to Lily's music playing upstairs. I want to do something for her, Serena said quietly. Like what? Well, I don't know yet. Something special. Something that shows her I'm not going anywhere. Logan kissed her temple. You don't have to prove anything. I know, but I want to anyway. 2 weeks later, Serena approached Logan with a proposal. I want to start an art program, she said. What kind of art program? For kids, here in town. Classes, workshops, supplies, everything free. Logan raised an eyebrow. That's ambitious. I know, but there's a building on the waterfront that's been empty for years. The owner's willing to lease it for cheap. I already talked to a few artists in Seattle who'd be willing to teach, and I think it could be amazing. Why art? Because Lily loves it, because kids need creative outlets, because this town deserves something beautiful. Logan studied her. You've really thought this through. I have, but I need to know you're okay with it. Why wouldn't I be? Because it's a lot of time and money and energy, and I don't want you to think I'm neglecting you or Lily. Logan pulled her close. I think it's a great idea, and I think you should do it. Serena's smile was bright enough to light the room. The Arts Center took shape over the next 3 months. Serena poured herself into the project, recruiting teachers, ordering supplies, renovating the building. Logan helped when he could, fixing plumbing and electrical issues, building shelves and workbenches. Lily was the first student to sign up. I want to take every class, she announced. Every class? Serena asked. Painting, drawing, sculpture, photography, all of it. That's a lot of classes. Yes, I know, but I want to try everything. Serena grinned. Then you can try everything. The center opened on a Saturday in late spring. Half the town showed up for the ribbon cutting. Pete Garrison made a speech about community and resilience. Mrs. Patterson brought cookies. Lily cut the ribbon with scissors she'd decorated herself. Logan stood in the back, watching Serena talk to parents and kids, and felt something settle in his chest. She'd found her place. That night, after everyone had gone home, Logan found Serena sitting on the steps of the Arts Center, staring at the harbor. You did good today, he said, sitting beside her. We did good. Don't be modest. This was all you. Serena leaned her head on his shoulder. I couldn't have done it without you. Sure you could have. No, I couldn't, because you're the reason I'm here. You and Lily. You're the reason I'm not still in Seattle, chasing things that don't matter. Logan took her hand. You ever regret it? Giving up the company? Not once. Not even a little? Not even a little. They sat in silence, watching the sun set over the water, and Logan thought about the woman who'd stumbled into his life during a storm. She'd changed everything, and he wouldn't have it any other way. The summer brought its own challenges. The Arts Center thrived, but managing it meant Serena was constantly busy. Logan's garage got busier too, as word spread that he was reliable and fair. Lily started middle school, which came with new anxieties and friendship dramas that neither Logan nor Serena knew how to handle. But they figured it out, together. There were arguments about schedules and responsibilities, and the fact that Serena still sometimes worked until midnight because she didn't know how to stop. About Logan's tendency to shut down when things got hard instead of talking them through. About Lily's growing independence and whether they were being too strict or not strict enough. But there was also laughter. Movie nights where they let Lily pick terrible films. Mornings when Serena made pancakes that were somehow worse than Logan's. Evenings on the porch, watching the harbor lights come on while Lily chattered about her day. It wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. One night in August, Logan woke to find Serena's side of the bed empty. He found her on the porch, wrapped in a blanket, staring at the stars. Can't sleep? He asked. Just thinking. About what? About how different my life is now. A year ago, I was in Seattle, running a company I hated, going home to an empty apartment every night. And now I'm here, with you, with Lily, running an arts center and actually enjoying it. Logan sat beside her. You miss it? The old life? Sometimes I miss the certainty, knowing exactly who I was supposed to be. But I don't miss being that person. Who were you supposed to be? Powerful, untouchable, someone who didn't need anyone. And now? Serena smiled. Now I'm just someone who's trying to figure it out, and I'm okay with that. Logan pulled her close, and they sat together until the sky started to lighten. I love you, he said quietly. I love you too. It was simple, honest, true. And for Logan, who'd spent 8 years convinced he'd never feel this way again, it was everything. The storm hit without warning on a Friday night in late September. Not a metaphorical storm this time, a real one, with winds that tore shingles off roofs and rain that turned the streets into rivers. The kind of storm that made people remember why they didn't build fancy houses right on the waterfront. Logan was at the garage when the weather alert came through. He called Serena immediately. Where are you? At the Arts Center. We're finishing setup for tomorrow's exhibition. Oh, get home. Now. Logan, we're almost done. Serena, this is serious. The harbor's gonna flood. He heard her relay the information to whoever was with her. Heard the scrape of chairs, the rustle of people gathering their things. I'm leaving now, she said. Where's Lily? School's keeping kids inside until parents can pick them up. I'm heading there next. I'll meet you at home. Logan grabbed his keys and ran. The school was chaos. Parents crowding the hallways, teachers trying to maintain order, kids either terrified or treating it like an adventure. Logan found Lily in her classroom, sitting by the window with her backpack clutched to her chest. Dad! She ran to him, and he swept her into his arms, even though she was getting too big for it. You okay? Yeah, but Emma's mom hasn't come yet, and she's really scared. Logan looked at Emma, a small girl with glasses who was crying quietly in the corner. Where's her mom work? Ici, alante partem. The hospital in the city. Logan made a decision. Emma, you're coming with us. The girl's eyes went wide. Really? Really? Your mom can pick you up when the roads are safe. They made it home just as the rain turned violent. Serena's car was already in the driveway, and she met them at the door, pulling both girls inside. Emma's staying with us, Lily announced. Serena didn't hesitate. Good. There's hot chocolate in the kitchen. The girls ran off, and Logan pulled Serena aside. This is going to be bad, he said quietly. Worse than the last one. How bad? Bad enough that we should move everything upstairs, just in case. They spent the next hour hauling valuables to the second floor. Photo albums, Lily's comic books, the box of things Logan had kept from his wife. By the time they finished, the water was already creeping up the front yard. Logan stood at the window watching the harbor disappear under the surge. The art center, Serena said behind him. I know. All the supplies, the equipment, the kids' artwork. Logan turned to her. We'll deal with it later. Right now, we need to keep everyone safe. She nodded, but he could see the panic in her eyes. The power went out at 8. Logan lit candles and pulled out the battery-powered radio. The emergency broadcast was grim, flooding across the entire waterfront, roads closed, evacuations in the low-lying areas. Should we leave? Serena asked. Logan shook his head. Too late. Water's already knee-deep outside. Lily appeared in the doorway, Emma right behind her. Is our house going to flood? Maybe, but we're safe up here. What about the other houses? I don't know, kiddo. Oh. Emma started crying again. Serena knelt beside her, pulling the girl into a hug. Hey, it's okay. Your mom knows you're safe, and as soon as the storm passes, she'll come get you. What if she can't? Then you'll stay with us as long as you need to. The simple certainty in Serena's voice seemed to calm the girl. Logan watched her comfort Emma, watched Lily lean against her side, and felt something warm cut through his fear. They were a family. Imperfect, cobbled together from broken pieces, but real. The storm raged through the night. Around midnight, Logan heard shouting outside. He looked out the window and saw Pete Garrison wading through waist-deep water, heading toward the row of houses near the marina. Someone's in trouble, Logan said. Serena grabbed his arm. You're not going out there. I have to. Logan, people need help. I can't just sit here. He kissed her quickly, then ran downstairs before she could argue. The water hit him like a wall when he opened the door, cold and vicious. He pushed through it, following Pete's silhouette. Pete was banging on the door of a house Logan recognized. Old Mrs. Chen lived there alone, refused to leave even when people told her the place wasn't safe. She's not answering, Pete shouted over the wind. Logan tried the door, locked. He slammed his shoulder into it once, twice, and it gave way. Inside, the water was already past their knees. Mrs. Chen was on the stairs, clutching the railing, eyes wide with fear. I can't swim, she said. You don't have to, Logan told her. We've got you. Between him and Pete, they got her outside and through the flood to higher ground. Other people had emerged now, neighbors helping neighbors, carrying kids and pets and whatever they could salvage. Logan helped for hours, pulling people out of flooded houses, moving furniture, redirecting water away from doorways. By the time he made it back home, he was soaked and shaking and exhausted. Serena met him at the door, face pale. You're an idiot, she said. I know. You could have drowned. I didn't. She pulled him inside, helped him out of his wet clothes, wrapped him in blankets. Upstairs, Lily and Emma were asleep on the floor of Lily's room, surrounded by pillows. They wouldn't go to bed until they knew you were safe, Serena said. Logan's throat tightened. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. Just don't do it again. I can't promise that. I know. She kissed him, hard and desperate. That's what scares me. They sat together on the couch, listening to the storm slowly die. Morning came gray and ugly. The water had receded, leaving behind mud and debris and the wreckage of a town that had been hit hard. Logan stepped outside and felt his chest cave in. The harbor was destroyed, docks ripped apart, boats capsized, buildings flooded. Pete's bait shop had lost its entire front wall. The community center's roof was half gone, and the arts center was underwater. Serena stood beside him, staring at the building she'd poured her heart into for months. The windows were shattered, the door hung off its hinges. Inside, everything was ruined. All those supplies, she said quietly. All the kids' work, gone. Logan took her hand. We'll rebuild. With what money? I put everything I had into that place. Then we'll find more. We'll do fundraisers, get grants, ask for help. Serena shook her head. You don't understand. I failed. I was supposed to give this town something permanent, something that would last, and I couldn't even protect it from one storm. That's not your fault. Isn't it? I should have prepared better, should have reinforced the building, should have… Stop. Logan turned her to face him. You did everything you could. This isn't on you. Tears streamed down her face. Then why does it feel like it is? Before Logan could answer, Lily appeared behind them. The building's messed up, she said, looking at the arts center. Yeah, kiddo, it is. Are we going to fix it? Serena wiped her eyes. I don't know if we can. Lily frowned. That's dumb. Lily, Logan warned. No, I mean it. You always tell me that when something's broken, you don't just give up. You figure out how to fix it. She looked at Serena. So why is this different? Serena stared at the girl. Then she laughed, watery and exhausted. You're right. It's not different. So we're fixing it? Yeah, we're fixing it. Lily grinned and ran off to tell Emma, leaving Logan and Serena standing in the muddy street. She's going to run our lives someday, Serena said. She already does. They spent the next week cleaning up. The whole town did. People showed up with shovels and trash bags and the kind of stubborn determination that came from refusing to let disaster win. Logan worked 12-hour days helping repair docks and clear debris. Serena organized volunteers, cataloged damage, started making calls about insurance and relief funds. Emma's mother finally made it to the harbor on the third day. She was a nurse, had been stuck at the hospital during the storm, and she cried when she saw her daughter safe. Thank you, she said to Logan and Serena. Thank you for keeping her safe. Any time, Serena said. Emma hugged Lily goodbye, made Serena promise the arts center would reopen, then left with her mother. Lily watched them go. I'm glad we could help. Me too, Logan said. That night, Serena got a call from an unknown number. She answered it on speaker, too tired to care who it was. Ms. Vale, this is Marcus Chen. I'm a reporter with the Seattle Times. Serena's face went flat. I'm not doing interviews. I'm not asking for one. I'm calling because I wanted you to know we're running a story tomorrow about what you did during the storm. I didn't do anything. That's not what the people in your town say. We've been interviewing residents. They told us about the arts center, the community fund, the fact that you spent the storm helping evacuate families instead of protecting your own property. So it's a good story, the kind people need to hear right now. Serena's jaw tightened. I don't want publicity. I understand, but the story's running anyway. I just thought you should know. He hung up. Logan looked at her. You okay? I don't know. Maybe. It's a good thing, what he said. People should know what you did. I didn't do it for recognition. I know. But maybe it's okay to let people see who you actually are instead of who the tabloids said you were. Serena leaned into him. What if they twist it? What if they make it into something it's not? Then we ignore it, like we always do. The article ran the next day. Logan read it on his phone while drinking coffee in the garage. It was fair, honest. It talked about Serena's resignation from Vale Enterprises, but it also talked about what she'd built in the harbor, the Arts Center, the community fund, the fact that she'd chosen a small town over $1 billion empire and never looked back. The final paragraph quoted Pete Garrison. She's not some rich lady slumming it for a photo op. She's one of us now, and when the storm hit, she proved it. Logan showed the article to Serena. She read it twice, then set the phone down. People are going to call, she said. Probably. Reporters, investors, people wanting me to come back to Seattle. And I'm going to tell them no. Logan smiled. Good. The calls came anyway. Offers to consult for tech companies, speaking engagements, invitations to rejoin boards she'd left. Serena turned them all down without hesitation. I'm exactly where I want to be, she said to one particularly persistent caller, and I'm not interested in going back. The Arts Center reopening took 3 months. Insurance covered some of the damage, but not all of it. Serena launched a fundraising campaign that brought in donations from across the state. Local businesses contributed supplies. Volunteers rebuilt what the storm had destroyed. Lily designed the new sign that hung above the door. Harbor Arts Center, it read, created by the community, for the community. The grand reopening was scheduled for a Saturday in early December. The whole town showed up. Families crowded into the renovated space, admiring the new studios and galleries. Kids ran through the halls, excited to start classes again. Emma's mother baked cookies. Pete Garrison gave another speech. Logan stood in the back, watching Serena talk to parents and artists, and felt the same thing he'd felt that night on the porch months ago. Pride. Love. The quiet certainty that they'd built something real. Lily appeared beside him. This is pretty cool. Yeah, it is. Serena worked really hard. She did. Lily looked up at him. Are you going to marry her? Logan nearly choked. What? Are you going to marry her? It's a simple question. It's not that simple. Why not? You love her. She loves you. You already live together. What's the difference? The difference is... Logan stopped. Realized he didn't have a good answer. I don't know. Then you should ask her. It's not that easy, kiddo. Why not? Because marriage is complicated and scary and permanent. Lily rolled her eyes. You're being dumb again. Probably. Just ask her. The worst she can say is no. That's exactly what I'm afraid of. Lily patted his arm. You'll figure it out. She ran off to join her friends, leaving Logan standing alone, wondering when his 8-year-old daughter had become smarter than him. That night, after the crowd had gone home, Logan and Serena walked through the empty Arts Center together. Their footsteps echoed in the quiet space. You did it, Logan said. We did it. Don't be modest. Serena smiled. Okay, I did it, and it feels amazing. They stopped in front of a wall covered in drawings from the kids who'd attended the first round of classes. Colorful, messy, perfect. This is what I was supposed to do, Serena said quietly. Not run a company, not chase money. This... Logan took her hand. You know what I realized today? What? A year ago, my life was empty. I went to work, came home, took care of Lily, and that was it. I wasn't living. I was just existing. And now? Now I can't imagine my life without you in it. Serena's eyes filled. Logan, I'm not good at this. The words, the feelings, all of it. But I need you to know that you changed everything. You made me believe I could have more than just survival. You made me want to be better. For you. For Lily. For myself. You don't have to... Yes, I do. He pulled a small box from his pocket. Because Lily's right. I'm being dumb. And I don't want to waste any more time being scared. Serena stared at the box. Is that... Will you marry me? The question hung in the air between them. Serena's hands were shaking. Are you serious? Completely serious. We've only been together for a year. I know. People are going to say we're rushing into it. Let them. The press is going to lose their minds. I don't care. Serena laughed through her tears. You're supposed to get on one knee. Logan dropped to one knee. Better? Much better. He opened the box. The ring inside was simple. A single diamond on a silver band. Nothing extravagant, nothing meant to impress. Just real. Serena Vale, will you marry me? She pulled him to his feet and kissed him hard enough to make his head spin. Yes, she said. Yes, yes, yes. Logan slipped the ring onto her finger, and Serena stared at it like she couldn't quite believe it was real. I'm going to be a terrible wife, she said. No, you're not. I'm going to mess up, forget anniversaries, work too much. So will I. And I still don't know how to cook. Neither do I. Serena laughed. We're going to be a disaster. Probably, but we'll be a disaster together. They stood in the empty arts center, holding each other, and Logan thought about the storm that had brought them together, about all the storms they'd weathered since, about the one still coming. He wasn't afraid anymore. They told Lily the next morning. She was eating cereal at the kitchen table when Serena walked in wearing the ring. Lily's eyes went wide. No way. Way, Serena said. Lily screamed and launched herself at both of them, nearly knocking Logan over. I knew it! I knew you'd figure it out. Logan laughed. Yeah, you were right. Can I be in the wedding? Of course. Can I wear whatever I want? Within reason. Can I bring Emma? Yes. Lily was already planning, talking a mile a minute about flowers and music and whether they should have the ceremony at the harbor or the arts center. Logan caught Serena's eye over their daughter's head. She was smiling, tears streaming down her face, and she looked happier than he'd ever seen her. They got married 3 months later. It was small, just family and friends, held in the arts center surrounded by the kids' artwork. Lily was the maid of honor, wearing a dress she'd designed herself. Pete Garrison walked Serena down the aisle because her own father had refused to come. Emma and half a dozen other kids from the center scattered flower petals that kept sticking to people's shoes. The ceremony was short. The vows were simple. Logan promised to love Serena even when she worked too late and forgot to eat. Serena promised to love Logan even when he was grumpy and emotionally unavailable. I promised to show up, Serena said, voice shaking, every day, for you and for Lily, for the life we're building together. I promised to stop running, to stop being afraid, to choose this family over everything else. Logan's throat closed. I promised to let you in, to stop pushing you away when things get hard, to trust that you're not going anywhere. And I promise to make terrible pancakes for the rest of our lives. People laughed. Lily wiped her eyes. The officiant pronounced them married, and Logan kissed his wife while the small crowd cheered. At the reception, Pete gave a toast. I've known Logan for 15 years, he said, and I've never seen him as happy as he is right now. Serena, you're good people. Welcome to the family. Mrs. Patterson cried through her entire speech. Emma presented them with a painting she'd made of the three of them standing in front of the arts center. Lily gave the final toast. When Serena first showed up, I thought she was just some rich lady who'd be gone in a week, she said. But she stayed, and she kept staying, and now she's my mom. Serena's face crumpled. Logan pulled her close. So thanks for staying, Lily finished, and thanks for making my dad happy again. The party lasted until midnight. When everyone finally left, Logan and Serena and Lily walked home along the harbor. The water was calm, reflecting the stars. The town was quiet. This is perfect, Serena said. It's not perfect, Logan corrected, but it's ours. Same thing. Lily ran ahead, calling back for them to hurry up. Logan and Serena followed hand in hand, and Logan thought about how far they'd all come. A year and a half ago, he'd been a man who'd convinced himself he didn't need anyone, who'd built walls so high he couldn't see over them, who'd been so afraid of getting hurt that he'd forgotten how to live. Then a storm had brought a stranger to his door, a woman who'd been just as lost, just as lonely, just as scared. And somehow, against all odds, they'd found their way to each other. It wasn't a fairy tale. There were no guarantees. Life would keep throwing storms at them, and some of those storms would be harder than anything they'd faced so far. But they'd weather them, together, because that's what families did. 6 months later, the Mercers reached out. Not through lawyers this time. Just a simple email asking if they could visit, if they could meet Lily, if there was room in her life for grandparents who'd been absent for too long. Logan and Serena talked about it for hours. In the end, they let Lily decide. I want to meet them, she said, but I want you guys there too. The visit was awkward at first. Richard and Susan brought gifts Lily didn't need and apologies that didn't quite land. But they tried. They listened when Lily talked about the arts center. They asked Serena about the community fund. They told Logan they were sorry for the custody fight. "We were scared," Susan said. "Scared of losing our granddaughter, scared of being replaced. But we were wrong." "You can't replace what you never had," Lily said bluntly. It was harsh, but it was true. And it forced the conversation they all needed to have. By the end of the day, they'd agreed to start over, slowly. With boundaries and honesty and the understanding that family wasn't about blood or ownership, it was about showing up. The Mercers started visiting once a month. It wasn't perfect. There were still uncomfortable moments, still things left unsaid. But it was progress, and progress was enough. As the seasons changed, Logan watched Serena settle into her life with a peace he hadn't thought possible. She expanded the community fund, started a scholarship program, became the person people turned to when they needed help. She wasn't the ruthless CEO anymore. She was something better. Logan's garage thrived. He hired an assistant, a kid from town who needed work and had a knack for fixing engines. He started taking Sundays off, spending them with his family. Lily grew, got taller, smarter, more confident. She started teaching art classes at the center, working alongside Serena. She talked about becoming an artist someday, or maybe a teacher, or maybe both. And one night, sitting on the porch while Lily did homework inside and Serena made dinner, Logan realized something. He was happy, genuinely, completely happy. Not because life was perfect. It wasn't. They still fought about stupid things, still struggled with money and schedules and the reality of blending two broken people into something whole. But they were doing it together. And that was the only thing that mattered. Serena joined him on the porch, handing him a beer. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "About how none of this was supposed to happen." "What do you mean?" A year and a half ago, I was convinced I'd spend the rest of my life alone, that I'd ruined my one shot at happiness, and that was it. And then your car broke down." Serena smiled. "Best breakdown I ever had." "You changed my life, Itzon." "You changed mine, too." Logan pulled her close. "You know what I learned?" "What?" "That sometimes the best things in life happen when you're not looking for them. When you're just trying to survive the storm and someone shows up who makes you want to do more than survive." Serena rested her head on his shoulder. "I spent 30 years chasing success, building empires, proving I was good enough, and I was miserable the entire time. Because I thought success meant power and money and control. But it doesn't. Success is this, right here. You and Lily and a life that actually means something." They sat together until the sun set, painting the harbor in shades of gold and pink. Inside, Lily called out that dinner was ready. Logan and Serena stood, but before they went inside, Logan stopped. "Thank you," he said. "For what?" "For staying, for fighting for us, for being brave enough to walk away from everything you knew and build something new." Serena kissed him. "Thank you for letting me." They walked inside together, to the family they'd built from broken pieces and second chances. It wasn't the life either of them had planned. It was better. Because sometimes the life you're supposed to have isn't the one you thought you wanted. Sometimes it's the one that finds you in the middle of a storm, when you're cold and lost and convinced you'll never be warm again. Sometimes it's the one that teaches you that love isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, about choosing each other, about building something real in a world that keeps trying to tear you apart. And sometimes if you're lucky enough and brave enough and stubborn enough to fight for it, that life becomes everything you never knew you needed. Logan had learned that lesson the hard way. But standing in his small kitchen, watching his wife help their daughter with homework while something burned on the stove, he wouldn't change a single thing. Because this was home, this was family, this was love. And it was more than enough.